What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in. If you like what you see, check out the entire episode at patreon.com/partywithstrategy. Every single week is a bonus episode. That's 4 episodes a month for $5. In a time where everything's overpriced, we're bringing back the clearance rack, baby. Let's go, champ. We'll see you over there. Enjoy the preview. Welcome back to the Party with Strategy podcast. Very special guest helping me out last minute. Needed to get a Patreon episode done before I left for LA. Put the bat signal out and my boy answered. Thanks for coming through. Short notice.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. We got Julius Saloma de Aviles.
Damn, that's impressive. A lot of people slaughter that typically.
Did I nail it?
Yeah, you nailed it.
Fucking nailed it, baby. Wish Diamond Cut was here to see that. How you feeling?
Feeling good.
Yeah?
So, had a couple days off, which isn't common in my line of work, so I'm rested and ready to go.
Nice. So you work at a restaurant. I have a fear of people getting in trouble from coming on this podcast and saying things that they shouldn't say. So
Sure.
I don't know that we want to mention the name of the restaurant that you work at, but we'll just say that you work at a nice restaurant in Chicago.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the harder ones to get into, right?
Definitely. Yeah, it was quite the journey to get there, and I'm just lucky to be there. Happy to be a part of the team.
Good. Yeah. Where'd you start in the service industry?
Back in the service industry in general, I started at a grill way up north of like Skokie. It was like a Moe's Southwest grill. I was like dishwashing and just like wrapping burritos.
Is that where you're from, the north side?
I'm actually from Humboldt Park, so born and raised up until I was like 11 and left the city with my mom, single mom. Shout out her. She's nailed it with me over the years. Been very patient. But she moved us a couple times. We lived in Hawaii for a little bit and then moved to the Bay Area in San Francisco, Oakland. And then I ended up actually moving back to the city by myself when I was 16. I was finishing up high school, trying to figure out how to get into college, pay, community college tuition. Ended up moving back towards the north side, balancing rent and also trying to put myself through college.
Yeah, how'd you end up in Skokie?
It was just close. I was living on like Hollywood and Kimball. So it was like up there. There was a like 30, 40-minute bike ride. I was just hustling to get to work and put a couple extra dollars in my bank account.
Nice. That's where I'm from. I'm
Really?
from Lincolnwood.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Chicago natives, let's go.
Yes, sir. And my dad lived in Rogers Park / Edgewater, all over the place over there.
Hey, I love the city. I always say it's something for everybody. I'm like, depending on what a little cul-de-sac you're from, it's a community.
It is the best city in the world.
Hell yeah.
It's not a myth.
No.
It's real shit.
And everyone comes back. Like I left and I'm trying to figure out where to go. There's no doubt in my brain that Chicago's the place to be.
Yeah, I can't imagine the Bay Area is any better than Chicago. I've never been there.
It had its purpose. It was cool. It was a vibe.
Yeah, you big Mac Dre guy? Did you get your Thiz face down over there?
Yeah, I was definitely in Thizzle dancing. It was a time to be alive, but still a Chicago boy through and through.
Yeah. It's a hard place to leave. Once you're here, once you're used to it, and I think more than anything, it's the people.
Yeah.
From what I can tell.
Absolutely. There's a lot of community. And that's also why I love service industry, just because there's even more of that tight-knit, that teamwork, than everybody just wants to look out for each other. And hospitality in general like bleeds into your relationships with everyone you meet. It's beautiful.
Yeah. The service industry, hospitality industry in Chicago is very tight-knit. Yeah. Everyone has a good time.
Definitely.
I just went out last night for like the farm had Chase Rice there and they were like doing their listening party thing. And I just saw so many industry people. Everyone pulled up because it was a Wednesday night. Everyone's off. And you get a little giddy inside. You're like, oh, this is going to be a good time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I remember your parties at Bottle Blonde. It was
we had a good time at Bottle Blonde.
Yeah, it was one of my early introductions to nightlife.
Yeah. Okay. So you're riding your bike down Sheridan Road, getting to fucking Skokie, rolling burritos.
Yep.
And then when do you make your way into the alcohol infused version of the service industry here in Chicago?
Yeah, I first restaurant I worked at, because at this point I moved back to Humboldt Park. It just felt right. And love this side of town. It's a little bit more quiet and more my pace.
Do you speak Spanish?
Understand it pretty well, but
You're one of those young kids that these real Spaniards
Humboldt Park
hate.
Rican, yeah.
These real fucking Mexicans hate you guys,
Yeah, they
bro.
do.
They've been talking. It was just Mexican Independence Day, and all the people riding around with the flags.
Mm-hmm.
All the real Mexicans I know are like, yo, fuck those guys. They
Yep.
can't even speak Spanish. That's
I've been
like the
dealing with
younger generation that don't even really have pride. They can't even speak the language. Blah blah blah. I'm like, yo,
Right,
chill,
right,
dog.
chill. It's a lot of smoke. Yeah, no, especially working in kitchens initially, and I was a busser for a long time and barback for a long time, runner, and they are not very friendly to you if you cannot speak Spanish. They did not like
I
that
bet.
shit.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy, right?
I mean, they would speak to me in Spanish, and I'd reply in English, and at least they respected that. Like I knew what
That
the
you
fuck they
could
were saying.
understand,
And if they were
yeah.
talking shit, I'd look at them, and they'd be like, "Oh, okay." Like there was a level of understanding, and respect, but. Yeah, Humboldt Park Rican. Both my parents are fluent, but they missed the beat, I guess. It is what it is.
Yeah, what do you think it is? Like I would imagine that if you're, I mean, I don't know how about your parents in general, but just for immigrant parents that come here and then have kids, I feel like they don't necessarily find it mandatory to teach them their native language. They more so want to integrate you
Yeah.
into American and English speaking and all that. So like you kind of lose that, but then that sort of sucks, right?
Yeah, no, it's a split aspect of being like grateful that they pushed you to assimilate a little bit, but
Yeah.
also like, damn, like I have to go on my own and reconnect with my culture.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
But I've been doing it over the years. I feel like I've learned a lot, especially through kitchen Spanish and whatnot. Like it's been educational for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I didn't, so I was gone for 3 years in Houston, and I didn't know that, I always remembered that Mexican Independence Day, people were driving around with flags and shit, and it's
Yeah.
cool. But then I guess over the last couple of years, it's become like a real thing where they're shutting down the highway and they're fucking partying in the streets and
Yeah.
like really causing mayhem. So I saw it this year and I'm like, damn, these motherfuckers are acting up.
They know how to party. I respect it. It's always a great time at the cookouts.
Yeah, that's facts. Good food too.
Hell yeah.
Can you, are you allowed to drink before work?
I could take a little sip as long as I'm responsible. I know that the restaurant that I'm affiliated with, that used to be a little bit more of a party, but I personally try to keep myself a little bit more grounded.
Yeah.
But
Have you ever had a long drink?
I have not.
I see you staring at the long drink over there.
It's the aesthetics. It's on point. I like it.
It's a nice flavor. It's a strong drink.
What's the alcohol?
New sponsor of the pod.
Okay. Hell yeah. Shout out long drink.
It's gin actually. It's really good.
I get weird off gin. I'm with it. Let's go.
You want to take a little sip?
let's do it.
You want to try cranberry, peach, or citrus?
I like citrus.
Citrus?
Let's go with the citrus.
All right. Take a little sip of that. Crack that open. Oh yeah.
Okay. Hit
Crisp.
the label for the video.
Yeah, it's it's a real can. It's not those tall, wiry ones.
Legend of 1952. I like it.
That's good stuff right there, huh?
It's tasty, yeah.
That's right. Go get some long drink.
Yeah. Cheers.
But yeah, so you moved back to Humboldt, reconnecting with your roots, trying to piece together the bit of Spanish that you know.
Yep.
And take me further on the journey.
Ended up in the Gold Coast. That was my first introduction to downtown restaurant industry. First
Same,
job.
actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Where at?
Butch McGuire's.
Okay, I love Butches. Respect. I ended up at Carmine's as a busser. And it was because I met this guy at Harold Washington at the time, who was like, why are you working out at that bullshit spot? Like, come make like triple the amount that you're making now. And I thought it was too good to be true. I was like, there can't be that much money in downtown Chicago. I was wrong. Being a tipped out employee, you can make a living. You can pay your bills. And I definitely kind of jumped into trying to pick up as many shifts as possible for that reason. Working as a busser there for a long time, became a bar back there. Also ended up working at the Signature Room because it was nearby as a runner. I was just trying to balance as much as I could, just stack my bank account as much as I could, because at the age of 17, paying rent by yourself and trying to, pay tuition and figuring out that the world's big and bad it's a lot on your shoulders,
Yeah.
But, I not incorrectly was prioritizing work, but definitely could have been a little bit more serious about my schooling. Ended up getting scouted. They were noticing just how often I was at Carmine's. I moved over to Tavern Rush.
They stole you. The old neighborhood steal.
I was working at both. And I know that there's a lot of conversation that you can't work at both, but
Yeah.
there was some animosity, but there was no rules against it as a buzzer. I was, clocking out of my lunch shift at Carmine's, walking next door, clocking in to do the night shift, and that was ladies' night when they raffed off the Louboutins on Mondays, and working doubles on Friday, Saturday, going into Sunday brunch. Like, I was really just learning what the atmosphere of that area was like, and just how hard they'll work you. And it toughened me up. It set me up for success, and I was able to network a lot and meet a lot of people that I later am still taking care of now in that neighborhood.
Yeah, you're the Don of the Gold Coast, huh?
I can't take that title yet. I got
Who's
ways
got
to
that
go.
title right now? Who's the Don of the Gold Coast?
I don't know if there's one now, but I know when I was at Tavern Rush, this guy Benny, he was the maitre d' of the Gold Coast, and it wasn't just Tavern Rush. He was the maitre d' of the Gold Coast. He had every phone number of every celebrity that ever walked through there, and anytime you needed anything, he would move mountains and make it happen.
That's pretty lit.
Yeah,
And that's your official title, right? Maitre d'?
Yeah, I was recently appointed in January to be maitre d', and it's a lot to step up to. I had a lot of imposter syndrome for the first couple months, and I still definitely do, but being my age and having that title and having that responsibility it challenges me to constantly pursue to, like, learn more and do better. And I'm always, like, trying to put myself out there. I want to be out networking as much as possible, and just knowing that people can rely on me and I can show them a good time in my atmosphere. Like, come over to my place and let me show you, a great dining experience. I love making memorable nights for people.
The Party with Strategy podcast has a brand new sponsor. Make sure you guys go check out Rendezvous Limousine Services for any of your travel needs around the Midwest. It's the best you can get, top notch. Let's be honest, everyone's a little sick of buying Ubers, getting charged for Uber X's like they're black cars, and the market's just not what it used to be. You might as well go with your best bet, Rendezvous Limo Service. They got party buses, they got Sprinter vans, they got Escalades, they got Navigators. Only the best of the best. Make sure you check out Rendezvous Limousine. You can find them on Instagram at RNDZ Limo, or their website, Rendezvous Limousine. If you're grammatically challenged like myself, rendezvous is RENDEZVOUS. And we might as well do limousine as well. LIMOUSINE. Rendezvous Limousine. Best you can get anywhere you want to go in the Midwest. Airport pickups, drop-offs, party buses. Just going to see a friend. Do it in style. You know what I'm saying? Let's get back to the episode. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah. So what I don't really know anything about the fine dining world. Yeah. Like, I fucking eat chicken fingers and Hot Pockets.
Hey, they're great.
Seafood is not my thing, which is like a very prominent item at high-end restaurants. If I don't know what's on the plate, I have so many questions. I need to know what everything is before I put it in my mouth. I'm just a picky eater, so like I don't know that world at all. What exactly is the maitre d's job? Like, in the same way that everyone knows what the bartender's job is, you pour a drink, but there's so much more that goes into bartending. Being able to hold a conversation, remembering regulars, knowing drink orders. Like, there's so much that goes into it outside of just the basics of pouring a drink.
Yeah, I get that question a lot, actually. It's because it's a little bit of an abstract position. It's not common. A lot of steakhouses choose not even have it anymore. But essentially, it translates to like old French dining, French fine dining, just because it's master of the house is what it means. And you're constantly doing everything between the lines. So moment that I clock in for work, I'm making sure that things are set up and just like the details are a little bit more noticed. I'm going through our books. I'm combing through every single name of every single person who's coming in that night, trying to see which notable personalities might be dining with us. Seeing, oh, this person's celebrating a 50th birthday. Let's make their night a little bit more special. Let's add on a couple different gifts and let's buy them dessert. Just making sure that every single person is acknowledged as an individual. And that's why I'm constantly like by the entrance of the restaurant, and I'm constantly checking on tables and stopping by and just making sure that everybody feels acknowledged and recognized and appreciated. And during service too, I'm constantly trying to support all my captains. So all the servers that are up there, they all need help with all types of things throughout the night. And if I can do anything to make their job a little bit easier, then it's making the guest experience better. So I'm running around through patio, upstairs, dining room, storage. Like I'm constantly just going up and down, making sure that all those seams are seamless, just because there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes of restaurants in general, but fine dining it's a production. Got to really make sure that you're wowing people.
Yeah.
And I love it. Since I started in that neighborhood, have loved just hospitality and showing people a great time. I loved being a server in that neighborhood. Being a captain at my current spot it's been a huge learning experience, just because people have been doing that stuff longer than I've been alive. I've been appointed a position that I feel like I need to earn. And I've been trying to rise up to the challenge. I think I'm doing the best I can do, and I continue to do better, but it's a lot. So it's a lot of money involved with people coming in trying to buy that wine and buy that seafood, and it's fun. It's exciting.
Yeah. What typically if a restaurant has a maitre d', there's only one, right?
Typically, our restaurant has had multiple in the past, but I feel like there's a lot of communication that goes into just management and the layers of communication of like, oh, this person told me this, it has to go through 3 more people. So having multiple maitre d's is blessing and a curse sometimes, because it's like if I've already taken care of something and then the other maitre d goes and takes care of it again, it's like it's kind of you miss a beat, or it's dampening an experience at that point. So I see the logic in having more hands, but typically a manager can also do everything I'm doing. I report to management still technically. I have the ability to support everybody in the way that managers do, but my priority isn't the floor all the time. It's the details.
Okay. So if there's one maitre d' and you have all these, it sounds like a pretty important job in the fine dining experience, that personal touch, that extra hospitality feel when you go into a really nice restaurant. It seems like a very important job. You got to work 7 days a week. You got to be there all the time.
My schedule is 5 days a week.
Okay.
I feel like there's some legality involved with that.
Yeah.
Corporate. But I do have meetings on my day off. People have my personal phone number, and we do use an application that I'm constantly checking and combing through to look through reservations, even on my days off. Mm-hmm. And if I'm booking reservations, I'm looking at the flow of the night and just what time slots were more busy, so I'm not messing with service, especially since I'm not there to move things along a little bit more fluidly. I don't want to be messing it up on my day off.
Yeah.
If I do have people that are dining with us that I want to be a little bit more hands-on with, I will pop in on my day off and just show them some love and stop by the table. And you make it seem like I'm even on the clock, but it's just because I don't want them to think that it's weird that I'm coming on my day off. But yeah, just making sure that things are taken care of, even if I'm not in the building, which is usually on my 2 days off, is it's my priority.
So you are, if a VIP host is what they are at a nightclub, exactly. Is that sort of what you are at a restaurant?
Yeah.
So let's say I go on Open Table Friday night, I try and get a reservation, there's nothing on there, but I got your number. I could hit you up and potentially still get a table even though I don't see anything.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's a lot
You're
of
the guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just, yeah. Actually, funny you say the VIP hosting thing. That's when I met you, is when I was like doing the nightclub stuff with 19-year-old promoter turned 21 at Tunnel Nightclub. Like that's...
I'll be at Tunnel on Friday.
Hey, shout out Lago, shout out Tunnel.
Let's go, champ.
I had a great time learning from that experience too, just because VIP hosting for Tunnel was crazy. Like it's always a time, Saturdays. And being the age I was, I don't think anyone knew most of the time. I wasn't advertising the information that I'm hanging out in nightclubs and underage. But I still like rose to the challenge and tried to keep up as much as I could. I learned from everyone around me who had been VIP hosting at that time, and translating that into what I'm doing now just is extremely helpful, because it is like multitasking every single table on the floor and making sure that we're moving things along, making sure that people are hitting those minimums. And because minimums aren't a thing in restaurants really, it's contracted events that we got to make sure that they're moving along on time, and they've already signed to a minimum technically. Like if you have 30 people that are trying to dine on a Saturday night, we need you to do what you need to do within that scheduled time.
Mm-hmm.
We can't hold up the dining room on a Saturday night. Otherwise you have 15 tables that are waiting to sit down and have dinner, and that's where the pressure comes in, because people are not happy when they're hangry. They want to sit down, they want to enjoy their meal.
Yeah. How do you, is there like a yeah, I guess you send people to the bar, right? If they're waiting for a table, hey, go hang out at the bar. We'll get you a glass of wine. Sorry for the wait.
Right.
Yeah.
I love being like, hey, first round's on us. Just take your time. I'll make sure to get it as fast as I can for you, because then it feels like we're attentive to the issue at hand. But just having people stall around, it feels disrespectful. Like I had a reservation at this time. I was expected to seat at this time, and that's just not the way restaurants go in general. You're not going to sit down immediately all the time, especially at a place of that volume. But at least we're on top of it. At least we're showing you a good time. We call it a splash cart because we get a bunch of champagne glasses and a little cart, and we start just topping people off with bubbles.
Nice. Yeah, that's tight. That's a nice experience. Got the cart coming through, serving you bar side, table side, whatever. Yeah. That's nice. What do you think, if you can remember, is like a situation where you went above and beyond and even impressed yourself with the idea that you came up with to really make somebody's night, whether it was their birthday or they're celebrating an anniversary or something, and then you got them some sort of gift or item that maybe you had to even leave the restaurant to go get?
Yeah, there's a lot of that actually. You leave the restaurant, you run down the block. But most recent one, this guy was, he loved the chicken tenders from Dublin's. And
who doesn't?
Right. I mean, it's a staple.
Yeah.
You can always rely on getting
Facts.
those late night. So we dolled it up and made sure that it was extra fancy, bougie to our standards, but they were the same chicken tenders from Dublin's.
That's fire.
If people want certain sweeteners or things that we don't carry, I will run to different restaurants and I will make sure, hey, can I borrow this really fast? Or I'll go to 7-Eleven and we'll buy this something for them. When this guy was super hungover, I went and grabbed some Pedialyte, and I always, keep some little liquid IVs or things in the host stand for that reason as well. Just making sure that anytime anyone's like, hey, this is an emergency, do you have this? Like, yeah, we do.
That's a nice touch. So the Dublin chicken finger thing, how did that even come about? Were you guys having a conversation and he was telling you how much he likes them and you're like,
he was speaking to the server, yeah.
Okay.
He was saying like, he was basically explaining to us that he was out of his element. He was like, I'm a Dublin chicken finger.
Yeah, so that was like me being at the restaurant, and you're like, all right, this guy's fucking white trash. He doesn't like sea bass. We'll go get him some chicken fingers.
A classy guy. You're a classy guy.
I'm talking about myself, not that guy.
I think you're classy.
Thanks.
Well, all right. Battle raps, cause I've shaken grown men to the point that they can't even face their own friends. That's why they rhyme about jewels, not life, cause the ice on which they skating is so thin. That's what I love about the human soul. It'll usually show when the truth ain't told.